Hey Iowa City, it's a great day for a bike ride. But you know what else it's a good day for? Everything else Iowa City Parks and Recreation has to offer. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about the trail system, City Park, Weatherby Park, the splash pads going on here in Iowa City, and give you an idea of some of the things that summer and the city has to offer you this summer. So follow me, let's go check some things out. My name is Adam Bentley, and I work for the city of Iowa City. You know, as a native of this town, I've had a lot of opportunities to experience what it's like to live in a Big Ten university city, but really never knew how much work it takes to keep the whole thing up and running. City employees work hard, day in and day out, to keep the water running, streets safe, and city moving forward. These people are your neighbors, your friends, and your colleagues. Their kids go to your kids' school, they drive on the same streets as you and me, and they shop at the same stores. I want to show you what goes into making Iowa City a world-class community, with world-class people doing things the world really knows nothing about. Let's keep our eyes on IC. Iowa City, this is Terry Robinson with the Park and Recreation Department. And Terry, what do you do for the city of Iowa City?
I'm the superintendent of Parks and Forestry. Obviously that entails two sections, if you will.
Parks and Forestry.
Parks and Forestry. Taking care of the parks, managing the parks, and the forestry end, which is the trees in the right-of-way and all the trees in the parks also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just kind of give Iowa City a idea of how many parks the city has, what some of the amenities we have in our parks. I mean, it's summertime and people are wanting to kind of get out. You know, what are some things people can do around the park system?
Well,
you name it, I'm sure.
Yeah,
you can do anything.
I'm obviously prejudiced because I think we have a lot of variety within the parks in Iowa City. Anything from biking or walking on the trails to being on a splash pad like we have behind us here, to going to City Park Pool. 20 competitive fields for baseball and softball. We have 17 competitive soccer fields, plus we have recreational fields.
Okay.
Persons can go to Shakespeare Theater if they would like.
Do we run Shakespeare Theater?
No, we do not run Shakespeare Theater.
Okay.
Thankfully, because I wouldn't be very good at that. It's good that the folks here with...
Well, you're doing a great job acting right now, so I think it'd be fine.
The theater folks here in Iowa City take care of that.
Okay.
But it's obviously a very important venue, and we could have you take a hike through the Hickory Hill Nature Trails. You could go to the Mercer Park and be at the Aquatic Center, which is obviously through the Recreation Division, but it's still within the parks. So there's a huge variety of things, and then all the playgrounds that we have throughout the system. If you can't find something to do, I got to think somebody's not looking too hard.
Yeah, exactly. So what are some of the things that people may do that they don't, maybe accidentally they do, or they intentionally do, that really takes up a lot of time and something that we may want to mitigate?
We really appreciate it when folks, and this is a start, follow the rules, but the particular situations we look at the most, if you're going to a ball field, as we have had a terrible spring this spring, and you see that it says that the field is closed, it's closed for a reason, not just because we like to put up the signs.
Sure.
Tremendously wet fields this year, problems there. Maybe it's another location where we have parking for an event and it seems like it's okay to park on the grass this time. And that does seem okay for one car. But if you think about it, we may have 1,300 cars coming into, say, Lower City Park. Following those things, making sure that we pick up our trash, especially in the new area we're going to have, which is going to be the Terry Trueblood Recreation Area. We are really going to try to promote what the National Park Service, the U.S. Forest Service, all of them do, and that's carry out what you carry in.
Sure.
That's extremely important. We simply do not have the bodies to go out and take care of something like that and to spend the time out there picking up individual amounts of trash. Now, we do have a lot of people who volunteer, and that's helpful, but we still can't keep up with all of it.
So that's probably the main concern you have?
Yes.
Okay. In terms of another kind of thing that I know that a lot of people like to do is have events in the parks, whether that's a graduation or what have you. And so can you talk a little bit about the permitting process? Because I think a lot of, I deal with this from the city manager's perspective, city manager's office. We deal with events typically outside the parks or both. But from the parks perspective, what is kind of the process that people go through If they have a major event, you know, what's the threshold for the amount of people that
Yes.
you have to have, that sort of thing?
That's incredibly important. The threshold for a shelter, for example, let's say that if I came to rent a shelter and I'm going to have 60 people in the shelter for an event, no big deal. You make the reservation, but then let's take it up another notch. Let's say that someone says they're going to have 120 people at a shelter. Our threshold of when we need a special use permit is 100 persons.
Okay.
The reason being is that can be important, say, in a small neighborhood park, something like Weatherby,
yeah.
you know, where our parking facilities are not that large, and we want to make sure that if we already know we have one event going on, that another event doesn't come in, the two conflict or overwhelm one another, and it can be a huge problem.
So 100 people threshold. If they want a shelter, you know, we have to monitor how many people the shelter can hold, essentially.
Yes.
But the permit's free.
Yes,
right?
the permit is free.
And you can go to any park, essentially.
Yes.
In Iowa City. So it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it is.
So one of the things I was kind of hoping to show Iowa City was our splash pad. I know it's not the newest splash pad in town, but it was our first splash pad in town, right?
Yes, that's
so
correct.
I think a lot of people really don't know what a splash pad is, and I think it's important to kind of show them what
we can take a
offer.
look.
So want to go check it out?
You bet.
Follow us. Well, this is our Iowa City splash pad behind us. Terry, can you talk a little bit about how it functions, that sort of thing?
Well, obviously, any water feature is, I don't know how it is unattractive. Look at the fountain downtown.
Right.
And I would love to say that we were the pioneer in the area, but Cedar Rapids had some very good experience with some splash pads that they had.
Okay.
And learning that, folks came forward that wanted to do something in this area of Iowa City. Weatherby Park was chosen. Okay. And so we started with this splash pad here.
Okay.
It's been very successful.
So talk a little bit more about the forestry program, because that's another component here. We obviously looked at some of the park, but that's that's another component of your work.
Yeah, the forestry program is obviously the one that's closest to my heart, because that's where I started.
Yeah.
Way back in the dawn of dinosaurs or whatever that might be. But the forestry...
you look great for your age.
Yeah. The forestry program is extremely important. If folks think about all those trees that are between the sidewalk and the roadway throughout Iowa City, and think about what it would be like if those trees were not there. You know, the shade, mitigation of rainfall, you know, making clearer air, all of those things that you know, we say them so often they tend to be cliched.
Yeah.
However, it's extremely important. And if you do go into, and it's very easy to experiment with, just go into a brand new subdivision where there are no trees and then go to some place and drive like Church Street.
Yeah.
You know,
or Summit Street.
Or Summit, yes.
Yeah.
Any of those, and you'll see the positive effects of those trees. We do allow tree planting between the sidewalk and the road. We ask that whoever wants to do that goes to the Iowa City website and looks for a tree planting permit. Again, there is no charge, but it's just trying to make sure that the participants let us know, give us some information so we don't plant the tree on top of a water line or don't put it on top of a gas valve or something like that. So then 4 years later, the poor tree's growing just fine and we got to dig it up because something broke somewhere.
Yeah.
So those are the things, and it's extremely important, and we're very proud of our program.
Now, can regular citizens contact you for any service they need done on
absolutely.
on their lawns?
And
are we a viable option for people?
It's extremely important that citizens call us, especially with respect to trees, because there's obviously 60,000 or whatever sets of eyes out there that might see a problem in a tree, and we can't be to all of those places all the time. So if they see something in a tree that is a problem, please give our office a call, and we will write up a service request, and we'll get there as absolutely soon as we can.
What kind of examples did you have about something where someone would call you?
A broken limb hanging over, you know,
after a storm or something.
Yes, after a storm especially. A tree, I don't know how many times we've gotten this call, we'll hear a call of, my tree is moving, and we're like, okay, now we need to make
Is it windy
sure.
out?
Yeah, and so we need to go out and take a look at it, and anybody in the forestry crew is more than capable of looking at these situations and diagnosing whether or not we need to do something immediately, or if it's something that can wait. So, yes.
Good knowledge to have. So, Iowa City, this is Terry Robinson working in the Park and Rec Department. Terry,
thank you.
Thanks for your insight.
You bet. Have a good day.
Thanks. Iowa City Park and Recreation Department boasts one of the most advanced communication technologies on the planet. Simply vocalize a message into this cylindrical tubular item, and you will find on the other end someone who is miles away. They'll be able to listen, and you'll be able to respond with them. I shall demonstrate now. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. That is advanced technology brought to you by the city of Iowa City. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Adam, how are you?
Good. Iowa City, this is Mike Moran, our Park and Recreation Director. Mike, this is Terry Trueblood Park, and I'll tell you what, I grew up in Iowa City, and I recall, this whole area has changed just drastically in the last 10, 15 years. Yeah. And so this actually wasn't a park to begin with. Kind of explain a little bit about what this was and who owned it and that sort of thing.
Yeah, back in 2007, this was the old S&G sand and gravel quarry or pit or whatever. And so what we did is the owners came to us approaching us with an opportunity to buy this for parkland. And so we jumped on the middle of that and said, oh, absolutely, we'd love to have that. So it ended up being a 210 acre space that we purchased from S&G Quarries, and then we went to a Vision Iowa grant to get some more money to develop this. And we were successful in obtaining a $2 million grant from Vision Iowa. They gave us $1.6 million, and we had to fundraise $400,000 for it. And then of course the city is a large contributor to this, and then the county weighed into it, and then various stockholders from there. We have a 98 acre lake and then 210 acres of land. It'll be Iowa City's largest park when we're done with it.
Bigger than City Park?
Bigger than City Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a trail that wraps around the lake, right?
Mm-hmm. There's a 2-mile trail that goes all the way around the lake.
Okay. And there's a lot actually that's going on in the background right now. We have this building over here, which will be used for...
Yeah, this is the marina building, and that'll be used to rent canoes and kayaks, paddle boats, sailboats, bicycles, fishing lines, and Fin and Feather. The city is contracted with Fin and Feather to do that service.
And then the building behind us, further behind us, is under construction at the moment.
Correct.
But what will that be used for?
That's the park lodge, and what we'll use that for is that'll be an indoor park space that hosts up to 150 people. We can divide it into 2 rooms of 75 or 1 large gathering space of 150. It'll be an opportunity for you to have a wedding reception, a mini conference, family reunion, picnics, just a multitude of things. We're very hopeful that we'll get a lot of runs down here as well. You know, cancer walks and MS walks and all that. We have a nice 5K route that we can do down here without crossing any city street that goes under McAllister Bridge and up to Napoleon Park. So
plenty of parking for
great
that too.
Opportunities for that, yeah.
Fishing and other kind of wildlife opportunities, probably bird watching, that sort of thing out here.
Yeah, the bird watchers just love this place. It's got just a lot of opportunities for that. We've got a turtle population over in the far corner that we've seen before. We've dumped 4,000 trout in this pond or in this lake over the last 2 years, 2,000 rainbows and 2,000 browns. So I always see somebody fishing in this lake.
Well, Mike, I was actually going to see if you would show us a little bit about this cool, I'm not sure if Iowa City knows anything about these. You might have seen them at New Pie, but these bike fix-it stations are now placed over here in this park. We want to take a walk over there and check it out?
Sure.
All right. So Mike, talk a little bit about these things, because these are kind of new for the city, and I've seen them in other towns.
Well, these are called fix-it stations, and what's unique about that is if you do have a blowout or if something goes wrong, you can come in and virtually it has any amount of tools that you want, screwdrivers, Phillips, regular, wrenches. It's just got every imaginable thing that you might need to repair your bike. And then it's also got a tire pump with it. What's unique about these is this is the bike stand itself, so you actually take your bike and you put it up in here or lock it into place so it can hang here, and then you can work on it instead of putting the kickstand down and fumbling with stuff like that. So we put one up here on the north end, we put one down on the south end, and then we've got one at the recreation center, and we've got a couple downtown in the central business district. So if you get stuck while you're repairing or anything, there's a QR code here that you can use on your iPhone, and it'll download manuals and repair fix-its so that you can take a look at it and see how you can get your bike fixed. So these are new for us as well, so we're going to be really interested in what kind of comments we get from the public and how much they really enjoy them.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. You busy?
problem.
You want to take me down to Ned Ashton House?
Oh, sure, that'd be great.
Okay.
See
Thanks.
you there.
Yep. Well, hello, Iowa City. You're looking at 410 East Washington Street, otherwise lovingly known as City Hall. This is where all of our administrative offices are located. So if you have a water bill or a parking ticket, or you need to talk to the attorney's office or the city manager's office, you can do that here. Offices are all open to the public. Maybe you need to talk to the city council. That might be another thing you can do here too. So stop on down. If you have any questions or comments or concerns about anything happening in the city, this is your place to do it. All right, I gotta keep trucking. Okay, Iowa City, I'm here at the Ned Ashton House, which is a recently acquired property that the city of Iowa City purchased after the 2008 floods. Yeah, Steve, a cup of sugar.
Oh, sure. Come on in.
out. Come on out. So, can you tell us a little bit, brief history of the Ashton House and how it kind of plays into the whole Normandy situation down here, how that all occurred?
Sure, and in 2008, when the floods came, the City Council enacted a buyout program for the houses down here that were devastated by the flood. And in the process over the last 4 years, the city acquired 92 homes. And they tore them down according to FEMA regulations and then made way for a new parkway down in this area. This house from the Ned Ashton family is on the National Registry of Historic Places, so we weren't able to tear that down, so we had to come up with some alternative uses for that. So Ned Ashton was a very well-known bridge engineer in the world all over, and he's had some work with the Hoover Dam, and he's just very well known and well respected. And he built this house by scratch, beginning in 1945. It took him a couple years to do that. He formed it out of concrete with old World War II war crates from tanks and everything. And he got the limestone from up in the Lisbon area and the quarry areas and brought that in and laid every brick of this down. And then his family lived in the house and owned it, probably right through the late 1980s. And what we're going to do then is we had to apply it for FEMA, and they've approved that. And so we're going to do a renovation and remodeling project. And this facility will become a place to rent for wedding receptions, for small family reunions, for mini conferences, for picnics, just a variety of things.
And the city, we've acquired, you said, up to I think 92 properties
92
down
properties
here?
in this area, right?
And so our intention is to then make this all
This will all be an
park?
extension of Lower City Park, and the parkland will come all the way out to Park Road, and this will sort of be the key vestiture of the park entrance.
Okay.
People see that, they'll be able to utilize it as a community center or as a community rental place, and then go all the way into City Park.
And there's a trail system, I think, that is going to run
Correct.
right down the road.
Yeah, but
right?
we'll add on to the Rocky Shore Drive trail system and come right along the river and then up into the Normandy Drive area, and then that'll catch the trail that goes into City Park.
Okay. And have we had groups out here yet? at
No,
all?
we've not. We don't have any occupancy permits or anything yet for that, so we hope to have things start late this fall.
Okay.
So it's never too late to book your Christmas party. Hey, well, welcome to the lower level of the Ashton House. This was Ned's workshop when he was an engineer, and he had about 6 to 10 tables set up here where all of his engineers would work from. And then when the water came through here in '08, it came above the fireplace up to about the light fixtures, and they simply just opened up all the doors and windows, and the water just came all the way through. But then they just power washed this. It's all made of concrete, and it all survived.
Want to show us upstairs?
Sure,
All
that'd
right.
be great. Okay, welcome to the upstairs living quarters of the Ashton House. There are 4 bedrooms on this side, and then this is the living room and dining room. perfect view of the river. In fact, this house was built so that every room in this house except one has a view of the river.
View of the river.
Yeah, so they were river rats for sure. That's what they call themselves.
Yeah.
And this is just a huge, great open space, and we plan on keeping this intact. In fact, one of these bedrooms over here is going to be an ADA accessible bathroom, and then we'll take out some portion of this wall right here so that we'll have basically sort of an L-shaped area where people can talk and do mini conferences or conventions, or you can have big setups for family reunions or for wedding receptions.
Well, Mike, thanks for showing me
problem.
Terry Trueblood and Ned Ashman House. We have a lot of amenities here
Yeah.
in Iowa City, whether it's City Park or the splash pads,
Right,
or
right.
horseshoes or whatever.
Yeah.
We have a lot of amenities, and you're the top dog keeping it all in line. So
It's an exciting time of the year for us.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Iowa City, Mike Moran, Park and Recreation Director. You know, something that's kind of interesting about our bike usage in Iowa City is that Iowa City just recently became a bike-friendly community silver status, an upgrade from bronze, which means that the community is doing a lot in terms of infrastructure and making sure that Iowa City remains a viable place to commute in a lot of different ways. So I think my air is back up and I'm ready to keep going. Follow me. Hey, Chad.
Adam,
Good to
how
see you,
are
man.
you? Good
Oh,
to
not
see
too
you.
bad. How are you doing?
Enjoying this beautiful weather.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Iowa City, this is Chad Dyson, our Park and Recreation Superintendent. And Chad, we're up here at Upper City Park. What are some of the activities that normally people can partake in at the park during the summer? Summer camp?
Yeah, we still run our summer camp program,
Okay.
9 weeks. Starts a week after school's out and then goes to mid-August. We have 2 different formats. Really, we have theme camp, and then because of the art room that we have at the Robert A. Lee Recreation Center, we do a art camp for those kids who are interested in art. So they'll do different projects, different materials, things like that during the course of the camp week.
So what's a typical day? If I'm a parent, bringing my kid here to summer camp, what does a typical day look like for their kid?
Yeah, well, camp always starts at downtown at the Robert A. Lee Recreation Center, so that's the drop-off in the morning. And then they disperse throughout the city to various parks, or they may stay and do activities inside depending on the weather. Every day in the afternoon, typically, they come swimming at City Park Pool.
Right here?
Yeah, right
Okay.
here. So they get the opportunity to swim. And then we also offer AM play and PM play, which is an early bird and after camp service that we provide for those campers who need an extended period. We also planned weekly with each theme camp is a field trip. So they'll take a field trip at the end of the week.
Okay.
Summers are busy season,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Everybody's out in the park, school's out. We offer the gamut of youth sports activities, t-ball, soccer, softball, things like that.
Sure.
We offer a variety of swim lessons.
Okay.
Swim lessons are always big in the summer, again with City Park Pool being our one outdoor facility. And then another program we like to highlight is our playground program. It's similar to our camp structure, except it's hosted at 6 neighborhood parks throughout the community, and
Okay.
it's a drop-in program. It's free of charge. It's supervised. There's an AM and a PM or afternoon portion. So it's an opportunity for those parents who want to get their kids supervised and play and outside of the house and,
Sure.
and have some activity at no cost. And it's a service that's well received and very popular with the community.
Now there's some other things you can do down here at City Park other than just softball and baseball. There's horseshoes.
There's
right?
horseshoes.
There's a carnival or some
City Park amusement rides.
City Park amusement rides and
Bocce courts. There's
Bocce courts.
tennis courts. There's a wonderful playground at Lower City Park and Upper City Park here. The historic cabins behind us over there.
So what do we do with historic cabins?
Well, the cabins are currently, we're going through a project or a process to get them registered historically, which
Okay.
they've been approved for the National Historic Registry, and they need to be repaired. I
sure.
mean, they're pretty old. It's been quite a while since we've had any activity, but our goal is to get them restored, get them open to the public again and usable.
Okay.
So
One of the things I always wondered about, just because I'm a Iowa City native, was I think a lot of Iowa Cityans see the park flooded a lot throughout the summer. And I think a lot of people are just curious about, A, why that happens, and B, you know, does that damage the park, and do we have to repair that all the time? You know, it's kind of, I think it's just a curiosity
Sure,
thing that a lot
sure.
of people have.
Well, the proximity to the river is the big issue. It's a floodplain area. Does it cause damage? Yes, but the Parks Department has taken steps through the years to move things more inland, away from the
Sure.
floodplain. So, you know, we get some turf damage and things like
Yeah.
that we have to, you know, address periodically.
Probably better than having private property going
Yeah,
water.
Iowa, yes. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Chad, I appreciate your time.
Well, appreciate it.
And
Enjoy the park.
Yeah.
Enjoy the summer.
yeah, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chad. Hey, Iowa City. I'm at Iowa City's Thornberry Dog Park, just here on the north end of town by the Peninsula Development. Dave, how you doing today?
Good, good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So, Dave, tell me what you do for the city.
Well, interestingly enough, 5 years ago, I got appointed to the Iowa City Parks and Recreation Department. And one of the topics the second year was, what are we doing with the Iowa City dog parks? We decided that we were going to hire a staff, have them here at the park, and give them opportunity to buy a tag with a lot less hassle. Because what you have to do at the rec center and at the shelter is that you have to have all your paperwork for your rabies shots and all that. So here, they can come here and either by check or by cash, we can have them fill out an application, and then they will we'll issue them a tag, and they sign a release on the back, and we hand them their tag, and they can come into the park for the rest of the year. And by buying a tag, we are in a sense making sure that the dogs that are in there have had rabies shots.
Sure.
And they're not too young, because 16 weeks or younger, they can't come to the park.
So are those, though, the only two requirements, is that they are over 16 weeks old and that they have their rabies vaccination?
Exactly, and of course, if you're in the small dog area, you can't be any taller than 17 inches, okay?
And that's to help the small dogs with their self-esteem.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But you'll be amazed.
Yeah.
The small dog will go into the large area. It's not a problem.
Sure.
And I say this over and over again. If people were more like dogs, we'd be a lot better off.
So a little bit about the park. How big, do you know how big the park is?
You're at the entrance right now. But as you turn to the right, you go into the small dog park, okay? Or they can go into the left here in our agility area, which is a number of purposes. We have agility equipment, and we set it up, and the dogs can jump over and go through and whatever. And then also, it really is an area when your dog has never been to a dog park. And they're not real familiar, and the owner is a little anxious about going in with all the other dogs. They can go in there for 30 minutes and kind of get used to the park. And then they get into the large park, and then they're out there with all kinds of breeds and sizes. And it's a sight to behold.
So if there was something you could tell people that do come here on a regular basis that might help staff, what's one of your biggest complaints out here that you get that you would want people to know about, so they can either, know that they need to throw their dog duty away, or something like
Well,
that?
they need to pick up after their dog, and we have stations out there with mutt mitts
Okay.
that we provide. Okay, as a part of the tag expense, they get those, and they're positioned around the park, so it's convenient for them to pick the waste up and then go ahead and deposit it. And we have a deposit station here, which is like a septic tank.
Right here
we
in
have
the front entrance,
Right here in
yep.
the front entrance, and we also have one out in the middle of the park.
Okay.
It's probably outfitted better than most parks, by far.
Well, Dave, I appreciate you taking some time to talk with Iowa City and myself regarding the park.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of Eyes on IC. Hopefully you learned something. I know I did. Join me in our next episode. And in the meantime, let's just make sure we keep our eyes on IC. You play pig, Iowa City? Let's see if we can do this here. Yay!
You're watching City Channel 4. On TV, online, on demand, on Facebook, and now on the go on your mobile device.